thank God for Elon Musk divulging the truth of what was really going on, this hand-in-hand relationship. But it does seem like, to me anyway, even more than Twitter, there was a alliance or a collusion between getting Biden elected and Facebook and getting Trump removed. For example, manipulating the algorithms, suppressing damning stories, amplifying Democrat voices, and then personally pumping $400 million into the election process. And what do you know? Almost all of that money goes towards Democrats. You allude to Zuckerberg and the Hunter Biden laptop story. Could you maybe elaborate on that just a little more for my audience?
Yeah, well, in the Hunter Biden laptop story, we show Zuckerberg and he's being interviewed. I think he might have been, I'm not sure if it was Joe Rogan, maybe.
Joe Rogan.
But in any event, he's on the show and he goes, yeah, the FBI came to us and they said, Facebook, you got to be extremely vigilant and wary because the Russians have got their dirty hands in the 2020 election the same way as they did in the 2016 election. And see, what they were doing is setting up Facebook for them to come back a little bit later and say, in effect, the Hunter Biden story. See, we told you, we warned you this was coming, and here it is. So don't touch the Hunter, even though, and this is again the key point, as in the example I gave with Fauci, the FBI knew full well that the laptop was authentic. It had too much direct information involving Hunter Biden himself, and information that had clearly been uploaded by Hunter Biden himself, and it was clearly accurate. So at the most, the Russians somehow got their hands on it, but where the information came from, its veracity, was obviously the corrupt dealings and the, in some cases, perverted dealings of the Bidens. So they knew that all of this stuff on the laptop was true. That's why they wanted to suppress it. This is the key point. A lot of times censorship is not about suppressing what's false. It's ultimately about suspending what is true, but inconvenient to the regime.
Yeah. I just want to take a sidebar really quick because this is fresh in the news, but you did another movie by the name of 2000 Mules about ballot stuffing in Georgia. And you used actual footage and geo-tracking to build your case for your documentary. How shocked were you last week when a judge in Bridgeport, Connecticut, actually overturned a mayor race because of the exact stuff that you showed in 2000 Mules of people gathering ballots and then stuffing them in the middle of the night or in plain day sight? I mean, how shocked were you when you saw an election actually overturned because of the very evidence that you were putting out months ago?
I mean, I was not shocked at all. If you looked at the images, in fact, many people did. Miranda Devine at the New York Post was like, I feel like I'm watching 2000 Mules all over again. The surveillance footage is almost identical and the same pattern, right? You've got these people, they come with sort of backpacks or they're chock full of ballots. Where they get the ballots from is unexplained. They make multiple trips to the drop box or drop boxes. You see them putting sheaves of ballots in one after the other. And even the judge in Bridgeport was like horrified. He's like, this is, and in election law, the key is not that you have to prove that you won the election. You simply have to prove that the outcome is in doubt. In other words, that we don't really know based on this fraud who really won. And the judge was like, that's enough for me. Election overturned. Now, very interestingly, in the three cases, which are, by the way, all in court, they all involve Democrats. They involve primary elections. In other words, these are Democrats stealing the election from other Democrats. And I think this is interesting because it tells me that the behavior revealed in 2000 Mules has actually been perfected by Democrats who have been doing it for years and even doing it to each other. And doing it not just at the federal level, but at the local level. So they've been practicing this stuff. They've become expert at it. And all they did was they took advantage of COVID in 2020 to ramp up the scale of it. And that's how they essentially pulled off stealing and rigging the 2020 election. I think ultimately this whole story is going to be out there. When we covered it in the movie, a lot of the areas we covered, which were Philadelphia, and the Atlanta area, Fulton County, We covered also Phoenix, Milwaukee, Detroit. Well, these are heavily Democratic areas for the most part. And so I knew that Democratic officials are not going to want to investigate election fraud by Democrats. And that's why, to me, it was a bit of a vindication to see that even at the local level here in Bridgeport, Connecticut, guess what? Not only are they talking about a stolen election, but a stolen election involving bad voter rolls, absentee ballots, mail-in drop boxes, and in one case, getting paid $10 per illegal vote. And if you watch 2000 Mules, they talk about how much are these mules paid per illegal vote that they cast. And Greg Phillips in the film goes, $10 a vote. And it's the exact same amount that pops up now, I believe, in the Connecticut or maybe the Massachusetts case.